Gaffer, thank you very much for joining us. What's the week of training looked like for you so far after that big win at Stoke?
What's it look like? They're training with good intensity. They're, the message after the game was that we can't play like that and win lots of games. We second half particularly, we sort of went into protection mode and sat pretty deep and didn't get any pressure on the ball. And so the message had been that we need to snap out of thinking we can play like that. So the training's been good. I'm more pleased with the lads who don't play it as regularly. I've only had 4 games, I'm not sure, but it's the lads on the periphery. Sorry, that's me. The lads on the periphery are dealing with it really well. I think it's football clubs. The issues can come when the lads who aren't playing are upset, disappointed, frustrated. But generally, they're all on board and they're all working really hard and all waiting for their opportunity.
Like you mentioned, it was a more defensive display, surrendered a bit more of the possession, but were you pleased with how your side managed the game in the end and kept their lead?
I was happy with the result, really. It's hard for me to sit here and say, I was happy that we defended really well and defended the box and showed good concentration levels. I don't want to play like that, to be honest. It's and yet, if you're playing against really good sides, it's difficult sometimes because they can push you back and you have to accept it. It's and I would say Leicester City are a really good side, and they will push us back at times, and we're going to have to defend with everything we've got. And but I also want to, if it was a fight, throw some punches ourselves. I want to make them feel that, whoa, we have to be careful here because these can attack and these can give you some problems. So you have to be able to show the opposition that you carry a threat. And second half, we didn't do enough of that, really. I think the catalyst for it all was the goal going in so early in the second half to make it 2-0, and the team from 2-0 sort of felt something to protect and sat in that mode deep that they've done for a while, and probably not under Wayne, but probably under John, they would sit deep in lots of numbers and make life difficult for the opposition at times, and I felt as if they almost went back into that mode, which is something we have to try and change, because I believe when you're 2-0 up, you should be pushing hard for 3. The opposition have to commit men forward, and there should be more spaces to play in. And but all stuff that we're working on, and all stuff that we have to keep going. And they're good lads. They listen. They want to please, and they want to work hard.
It was confirmed earlier today that Jay Stansfield will be staying until the end of the season. How big is that news, and how many other clubs were trying to pry him away?
I personally was always confident that he was not in danger of leaving. I think he's an exceptionally professional footballer. He works really hard at his job. I know I had 1 or 2 conversations with him. I felt he was in a good place. He's scoring goals. He's working hard. He enjoys what we're trying to do with the team, and I didn't sit there thinking, he's going to be leaving on that last day and go off to certain clubs. There was 1 or 2 championship clubs pushing really hard to try and make that happen, and I think huge credit to the boy himself, who felt that this club had given him an opportunity to play championship football, and he's proven he can do it, and he can score, and he works really hard, and he buys into everything you're asking him to do. So we're delighted that decision's come and gone, and he's going to be here for the remainder of the season. So let's hope he continues scoring, working as hard as he does, and enjoys his football, and of course then in the summer he'll go back to his parent club. Let's see what happens on the back of hopefully the goal scoring feats over the remainder of the season.
He's proven himself to be tremendous in front of goal this season. Do you see him as that number 9 figure, or do you maybe see him as on the wing or just behind?
I think he can play all of them. I think you get strikers who can play anywhere across the line. I'm sure he can play off the left, off the right, behind the main striker. He can be the main striker. I think he's just happy to play, and he doesn't sulk if I say I'm going to push you wide right and put Hogan or Djukovic up top. he gets on with it and he works his socks off for the team, because he seems that's why he's there, really, to help the team win football matches. So he's a joy to work with, delighted that we've got him, and hopefully he enjoys the remainder of the season and scores lots of goals.
Leicester on Saturday will likely provide your toughest test yet, but will you be going into that one full of confidence after consecutive wins?
We go into it with belief that we can go and give everybody a game in this league. I think, even in my short period here, there's enough talent to be competitive. They're not a team of young boys who've very little experience. There's some very experienced footballers there who understand this league, who know what it takes to get through the games, and we're just looking forward to the next challenge. When you're playing Leicester City, who are, whether the league like it or not, they are running away with the league, really. I don't know whether it is 10 or 7 points in front at the moment, and but they've had an amazing season. I'd have to say huge credit to the coach, to Enzo, it's of how he's reconstructed them and how he's given them a real identity, and we're just looking forward to the challenge of going there and seeing if we can compete it, and if we can compete and give them a game, win, lose or draw, I'll be happy moving forward, and obviously we'd like to win, get through the next round, but it's a tough ask on paper, but let's go there, and I know there's a large following going up the road from Birmingham, so hopefully they can have a good day and enjoy watching their team compete with the team at the top of the division.
Is this a game as well that you're expecting to have to be a little bit more pragmatic in your approach, focus on playing without the ball, but when you do get it, you hope to see some real quality stuff from your side as well?
Yeah, I think we have to accept that Leicester are going to have more on the ball than us, and the quality they possess allows them to do that. They're at home, of course. There'll be an expectation from their fan base that they push on. We have to, like every game, we have to try and assess the strengths and weaknesses, and we have to try and see the cracks that might appear at any stage in the game. I sat and watched the latest game against Ipswich, first and second in the league, or first and third at the time, I'm not sure, but I think it was a good game. I think it was, two really talented teams who looked like they could hurt each other. First half, Leicester were in total domination, really, and Ipswich clawed their way back second half, and obviously got probably a deserved equaliser later on in the game. And we have to go and make them feel what a tough game this is. And I know we're not first or second in the league; we're quite a long way down the league. But I think we need to take the new mentality into the game and make Leicester feel that they had a tough game, as I say, whether we win, lose or draw.
Has it been nice as well to have a bit more time on the training field to prepare for this one? Of course, last week there was 2 games, so you wouldn't have had that much time. Yeah,
it's always an issue in the Championship, really, of you not having a full preparation week, because generally you get one training day, because the day after the game is a recovery day for the players, and then you've got one day, and then you're probably either on your travels or you're playing that day for the next game. So it is difficult to prep your team exactly how we would want them for each different team, because there's so many different styles of football in this division. Very direct teams, very powerful teams, transition teams who wait for you and play on the counter-attack, and then there's ball retention teams who can dominate games. So it is difficult to get your game plans and your ideas over, and that's probably why in the last game we went back to type, I think, of sitting behind the ball trying to protect a 2-0 lead, whereas I'm hoping in a few months' time that won't happen. We'll be trying to get a third and a fourth, but let's enjoy the journey. I think let's enjoy this trip to Leicester. Let's hope we can give the fans something to cheer and make them proud of being Birmingham City fans, and for us to test ourselves, see how far we've come in a few weeks.
You mentioned last week that Ethan Laird, Mark Roberts and Neil Etheridge had been back out there on the grass. Are they close to a full return now?
Yeah, I'd have to say all of them are pretty close. They've trained, and the call is whether we're going to give them some game time, whether we feel they need to have another week's training, depending on the length of time out injured, and but they're all on the training ground and working hard, and I have to make a call on whether I think they're ready to play a game yet.
Is there anything else in terms of injury news, or is it all plain sailing from there?
No, it's not plain sailing. We have picked up a couple of injuries this week in training, mainly because of the intensity of the training. I always have this dilemma whether I'm going to tell you who's injured or not, but invariably I say no, because I don't see the logic in telling the opposition who's injured and who's not going to turn up and who's going to play. And so we've picked up 1 or 2 knocks, and you'll see on Saturday that by the nature of the team, and I can answer the questions after that game.
It seems at the moment that the lads around the place are full of confidence. Is that something that you've noticed as well?
Well, I don't know what it was pre my entry to the football club, of course, but generally I like footballers being happy, and the camaraderie around the group is normally loud and laughing and plenty of joking going on. I think generally they're the same as most football teams I've coached. I like footballers to enjoy their lives, to enjoy working hard, to have a level of discipline about what they do, but to give them the freedom to express their talent and enjoy coming into train every day, and then work within the structure that we set out. So things like the most talented players that have to work the hardest. You know, I don't accept huge talent standing around throwing their arms up or shrugging their shoulders if somebody doesn't pass to them, or you know, they have to work hard. And that if we have a team where the best players are working the hardest, then we're going to be a pretty successful team. And that's just something I like to say to them, really. If you are one of the really talented players, you have to work the hardest, because that'll inspire everybody else. If the tricky winger is tearing up and down the pitch and throwing himself in front of tackles and blocking shots, then what's the centre half going to be doing? You know, they have to inspire each other with their performance level, and hopefully we can get that as we move forward.
Just finally, it's a bit of a Blues takeover in Leicester this weekend, over 5,000 making the trip. How much are you looking forward to that atmosphere?
Well, I think Leicester is a Premier League venue, I would have to say. You know, the tunnel area, the dressing rooms, it's quite amazing what's happened to that football club, and the investment that's gone into it. And it's an interesting comparison, really. I suppose that, you know, there's some really good things happening at St Andrews as well, and with the infrastructure behind the scenes. And I hope the Leicester fans turn out for the cup match. I know, you know, it's generally, I'm assuming it's because that season is not on their season tickets, but it might be extra money they have to pay. But hopefully there'll be a good crowd there. Hopefully it's a great game. Hopefully the Birmingham City fans will enjoy the encounter, the camaraderie of being there with so many like-minded people, and the team on the pitch that is fighting really hard for the cause.
Gaffer, thank you very much.
Cheers, pleasure.